Ratigan was free once more. After a brief adventuring expedition, he returned back to his home city, only to discover that he was laughed at by his peers and his teachers. Laughed for developing and learning so little, for being gone for so long. As soon as he was given an opportunity, a portal and a brief small sum of coins, he took it without a second thought. And now he is here in the Stolen Lands, where there's nothing to stop him from growing in power. Prometheus knew Ratigan from a previous journey. However, he did not much agree with the man's methods and thinkings. But he understands that sometimes you need someone with a different point of view if you are going to succeed in all endeavors. And so, he put his faith in his former comrade, knowing that at least he wouldn't betray him. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Kingmaker, with me, McGammar.
All according to plan.
I'm going to do one additional level of preparation here, and that is, I'm going to give Ratigan here this Wand of Magic Missile. It has 11 charges, but it will be enough.
In due time.
Low-level spellcasting sure is a pain. But we'll deal with that pain, and bring him with us. We'll very quickly acquire other party members, but for now, having Ratigan with us will be a boon. What is not a boon is this foggy mesh that we were warned about in the night. We cannot move past this or through this. It is such a pain. So for now, we have no choice but to go south. We need to uncover new paths. Oh boy, a random encounter, a chance to test our mettle, a chance to acquire new loot, a chance to meet new people. A jittery old man in squalid clothing shuffles up to you. His gray hair is unkempt, and he continually clenches and unclenches his wrinkled, freckled hands. When he stops and looks up at you, his eyes widen, and he tugs his beard.
Strange weather. The festival fog, creeping out of the woods. Soars beyond the sky, obscures the sun and moon. Strange.
The old man shakes his head, his eyes shifting about seemingly at random.
I don't like this old man. Looks like the kind who can cast an evil eye.
What, you mean like a witch?
Wait, aren't witches women?
No. There are some witches who are men. There's also the warlocks, which are also different, and they can also be women.
But wait, wouldn't that make them witches?
No, I'm the magic man. I know these things. Who are you? The old man freezes for a moment.
Famous, but that won't help with the fog.
What are you doing here? The old man raises a thick eyebrow curiously.
I do nothing. Breathe, walk, observe.
The fog looks visible enough to me.
I see more than ever. I've never seen so much before.
The old man wipes his hands across his face and sighs wearily.
But someone must look, and no one else can.
Invisible fog? Does that mean you can find your way through it?
The fog is wrong. It hinders your legs, not your sight. I wish not to try.
Fair enough. I should probably go. The old man stares at you intently.
You hasten. You should. Your rival wastes no time. He races, but in another direction. He searches for power. He'll find it.
My rival? Do you mean Tortuccio? The old man tugs his beard again.
He's not tall, but he wants to climb high. Besides him are those who could stand against him. Am I yet still?
Ah, a clue. What power is he searching for?
Someone else's. Old but forever young. That which was taken from another. That which gave joy, and now gives death.
Can you tell me where he is now?
He's in an old tomb, south of the trading post.
Ah, so we got information. Good, thank you. The old man nods. How do you know we're rivals?
I don't know, I see. You can choose where you set your eyes, usually. But can you choose what they see?
I suppose. All the more reason not to linger. Farewell. The old man turns and walks away slowly, muttering softly.
Once stolen, the land should be reclaimed. Once reclaimed, bound with those claimers shall be. Bound, merged, joined by unbreakable ties. Claiming the land, claiming its pain, claiming its death.
Ominous!
That is not far.
Well, that sure was a random encounter. But not all random encounters are random. I believe that one is staged to appear at that point. Let me double check something. I did. Okay. Want to make sure I was equipped with squirrels and... Ooh, what's that? Blackberry meadow. I sure would like to get some of those one day. Not today. Oh boy, an actual random encounter. What have we got here? Looks like a bandit transmuter in that direction. And a normal bandit in the other direction. Well, fire away.
Die! Die!
You're in the front. Can you charge this one? You can. Yep, get that caster.
Serves you right.
This should do it.
Alright, that one's eliminated. Can I charge? Maybe. Get these buttons up here on the Spinal Dawn's bar. I can! But I missed. And that provoked an attack. They hit me with the acid splash, but the provoke, that was their doom. They really shouldn't be casting in
As
melee.
it should be.
Anyway, let's take their stuff. It may not be the best stuff, but stuff that we have nevertheless. Let's see, that is a composite longbow. Composite bows are good because you can add your strength to their damage. That will be a good secondary weapon for a Miri. As for this light crossbow, I think that's just outright better than the short bow. At least in this game. In tabletop Pathfinder, I would have to use a move action to reload that light crossbow, in which case the short bow would be better. Because that way I could move and shoot. Okay, Nettles Crossing. I am going to make a quick save at the beginning of this map, because there's a lot of things that I can just miss. Move there, and save. Okay.
In due time.
What's that?
That's something that we saw. And it's a coin. It appears these posts once held a rope bridge. Ah, so there's no more crossing at Nettles Crossing. 5 coins to cross a river. I don't think 5 coins will help me cross a river anymore. The small house burnt down a dozen years ago. Ah, so this is not recent.
Interesting.
That's something that we saw.
All according to plan.
Just gotta get my people off the box and
Just
see.
letting the ink dry.
Okay. I'm going to save again. This next box is incredibly difficult to see.
What a find!
There it is. Okay, now I've seen the box, but can I open it? I have 2 chances with my current party.
It's just not my.
This is not possible.
Yeah, it's rough. How are these rolls? This is a DC 27. I have a +7. I rolled really well. I can't get it. Is there anything I can do to help me with this roll? There is. There is something I can do. But I basically have to roll a 20 to be able to open this box at this level. I could come back later and try something else, but what I can do is use a first level Guidance spell on Lindsay.
Adventures call to them.
Lindsay also has... No, she does not have any other bardic abilities that could help us out with this particular point in time.
Anything is possible.
Is there anything else I can use to try and buff my ability to try and pick this lock? Which would be a dexterity check. Do I have a potion that could help me out with this? No. Signs point to no in all directions. So I just have to rely on this guidance. Okay. I have the guidance. I picked the lock.
Applause,
It worked! Alright. How was that check? I rolled a 20! I'm going to save the game for that. Alright. Alright, what do we get? Another Ring of Protection +1. That sounds good. Let's give that to the people who are in the front. One for you. You need some help with your saves. Let's give you a cape. Oh, good. Alright. Those are some difficult checks. Now let's go down by the river. And it's a zombie. The corpse's face is bloated from being so long in the water. The stench from its toothless mouth is so foul that your eyes begin to water. The hand clutching a sinister-looking spear is covered with scabs. Suddenly you feel faint, as if a cold, wet hand is placed heavy atop your head. Wet hair sticks to skin, and trickles of icy cold water run down your face and shirt. A hoarse whisper rises in your head.
There you are.
Who are you?
Davik Nettle.
A storm of bright images flashes before your eyes. A long time ago, this person, then a living man, came here from Bravoy, constructed a rope bridge, built a house, and lived in it, collecting payment from those who crossed the river. How did you die? You see a vision of a lovely spring day. Sunbeams shine warm against your cheeks. 3 men approach the house by the bridge, one of them wearing an antlered helm, the Stag Lord. Angry faces, a quarrel, a glint of a rushing, unsheathed sword. Suddenly the Stag Lord's greedy eyes are twisted by surprise. The master of the house has unleashed his hounds! A burning smell stirs you awake as the sound of loud barking. Flames are crawling up the walls, the sound of breaking glass, the bitter cold night air. You're outside the house, and something is wrong. An arrow strikes deep in your shoulder. You hear the guffaws of 10 throats. You run, already in the middle of the bridge. The man in the antlered helm cuts one of the ropes. An ear-splitting scream fills the air. Wow. Wow. What do you want from me? You see a vision of a man wearing an antlered helm. You hear a muffled groan, and the helm drops to the ground with a loud thud. Your hands are covered with hot blood. Too much blood.
Death to the Stag Lord.
Don't you hate it when someone asks you to do something you were already going to do anyway? It makes me want to do nothing, just to spite them. Lindsay! Lindsay! I know how you feel. I know people who know how you feel, but we can't just do nothing. We're going to do it anyway, we'll agree. Very well. I shall meet your vengeance upon the Stag Lord. The drowned man, who'd been sitting motionless, nods his head.
Come later. Take the spear.
Alright. And so we will be back.
According to plan.
If you did not succeed on your checks to find these things, anytime you level up and raise your perception, you have another chance to find the box. And every time you level up and raise your trickery, you have another chance to open the box. That said, it's also really nice if you can just get everything the first time through. That way you don't forget. That way you also benefit from having the things earlier. Anyway, let's head up this way. I'm going to head towards that tomb. Waterlogged lowland. Never mind, we're going here. We are not going to go in yet. I am going to make another quick save. I don't plan on scumming this, but if things go really bad, I might. We walked across the heath for a long time, yet no sight sprang up before our eyes. By turns we discovered a verdant lowland, with several near-about springs streaming down behind another hillside. And then, in the distance, in the center of the lowlands among the bush, there stood a single dry tree, a true giant, its magnificent outline resembling an animal's paw clawing at the sky. But what was truly remarkable, the flat landscape was dotted by mysterious dark humps. They were piled about the height of a man and scattered about in abundance. We determined that we should explore the lowland. The further we trekked, the softer land became. Step by step, heath grass gave way to mossy, low-growing shrubs and ferns, and then sloshy puddles and stinky swamp water. Then muddy ground sucked at our feet, and soon our party was jumping from hassock to hassock. Finally, we reached the first group of mysterious humps, and learned that they were no mere hills but dugout dwellings. We moved with great care towards the center of the lowland, and there the real swamp began. On our way toward the mysterious giant tree, we saw the foggy outline of another hut, this one much bigger, and surrounded by small clay statues. We examined the surrounding dwellings. Inside the dugouts were frowsy and dark, darker than the holes, and filled with absolute desolation. There were no windows in these mud walls, no furniture or other homely items, except for the odd piece of tattered wicker. But every dwelling had a large hollow dug right in the center of the dirt floor, like a fire pit, but taking up a far greater part of the space. They were filled with standing water and reeked beyond description. We would not retreat, and moved ever forward, toward the tall tree, determined to visit the big hut on our way there. We walked slowly, carefully choosing our way, keeping the drier ground as much as possible. But the further we went, the more difficult it became, and soon we were wading waist-deep through the cattails. Frogs croaked loudly as we peered anxiously towards the cloudy water, struggling to make out what the shadows flitted along the bottom. Suddenly, Lindsay staggered, spit out an oath, and flailing her arms. She made the wrong step, and unable to pull out her foot, she called out loudly and began to sink into the vile green slush. We hurried to the rescue, sensing that time was short, or we could do an athletics check, of which Lindsay has to do. Wary of another of us getting sucked into the bog, we decided to form a living chain. Standing next to each other and holding out hands, we began to pull our fellow traveler up. Let's try! Wow, we succeeded. What did we roll? A 16, not bad. Luckily, Lindsay managed to keep her head above the water, while we struggled to rescue her. Grabbing the nearest hand and pulled with all of our strength, she freed first one foot and then the other. The insatiable bog gurgled hungrily after us, but we didn't look back. Sodden and weary, we finally made it back to solid ground, and a palace of sorts rose before our eyes. A spacious hut made of mud like the rest, but decorated with pebbles, bones, cattail spikes, and snail shells. In front of the palace was a wide and shallow reservoir. Its green water reflected the leaves of huge ferns and primitive clay figurines. The buzzing of gnats was nearly deafening. We were not far from the center of the swamp, and a firm and steady path led here through the thick bushes. At its end, the tall, dry tree stretched mightily upwards, clawing at the firmament. Let's try the knowledge check. We carefully examined the clay figurines, trying to fathom who they might portray. Good roll! Good roll! Goggle eyes, flat heads with no necks, ears, or chins, ugly long legs, unnaturally bent. These sculptures could only be the work of boggards. Primitive, cruel boggart tribes had inhabited the swamps of Garund and Avestan since the olden days. Pitiless to others and each other, they were led to the darker instincts of their insane priest-kings. They are known to grow young fry in the pools inside their house. Ah, I see. That explains all the pits and pools. Alright, let's see. We peeked inside the hut. The palace was twice the height of the other huts, and its entrance was wide enough that 3 could walk abreast. The walls were decorated. An unknown builder had scratched drawings into clay while it was still wet. The faded scroll depicted huge amphibians devouring smaller figures, some frog-headed, some others not. 3 of the 4 rooms boasted large holes filled with water, just like the other dwellings, though here there were steps descending into them, cut into the dirt. In the furthest room we found equipment decorating the walls, leather armor, spears, clubs. To our surprise, a number of the items were well preserved. That was clearly decorated, so we felt, or clearly deserted even, so we felt no shame in taking some of it with us. We got a short sword, some leather armor, and a handful of gold. We moved forward, seeing that we'd drawn so close to our goal. It was ever so lovely to walk once again along the well-trodden path. Our soaked clothes imagined being dry, and our mood was once again lifted. The bushes that bordered the path seemed to wave at us amiably, in their juicy green leaves and shiny bright red berries. A fresh wind puffed away the rotten smell, and it finally felt like the swamp might be nearly behind us. But then the wind stopped blowing, and the thorny branches continued to move, and we heard a loud shout. Amiri, who was watching our rear, pointed to a surging, crawling wall of green, filling in the path behind us. The surrounding thicket was coming to life. Its branches reached out with soft swishing sounds. Drops of sap oozed and rushed from their thorns, gleaming on the emerald dusk. The path was disappearing. There was no way back, and the clear space ahead was closing. I think our best shot is to do this a mobility check. We ran forward as fast as our legs could carry us, flying forward the closing passage. We failed. We rolled a 10. We only rolled a 1! Oh, no! Alas, we were not quick enough. Green walls closed in around us, branches grabbed at our sleeves, wicked thorns scratched our hands, and our faces burned with the acidic sap. Roots tangled our feet, and our blood fell to the leaves, but with great effort we broke away, at last, to the grasping green. Finally, after what seemed an endless trek, we came upon the gigantic dry tree that had been intriguing us from the beginning. Lo and behold, we saw an idol cut into its trunk, a huge, horned, three-eyed toad. Its googly eyes made it look both cruel and dumb, almost idiotic. Its muzzle hung half-open, sharp-toothed with several hanging tongues. Deep brown streaks oozed from the corners of its mouth. We tried to glean what sort of idol it might be. There could be no doubt. This was Gogunta, master of the great swamp in the demon abyss. But what is this? While we were examining this idol, a large, bright blue dragonfly came out of the hollow of the tree and sat invitingly on the very tip of our noses. It was so remarkably strange. It didn't react to our movements, and seemed quite content to remain where it sat. We have myriad options here. We could be lawful good and just desecrate the evil altar. Or we could do a chaotic evil thing. Suddenly, Prometheus grabbed the dragonfly and held it in front of his mouth. Oh gods, did he just decide to eat it? We succeeded our fort save. Excellent. I heard a wet crunch and I winced before I could look. I turned around, hearing a faint cry. Prometheus had turned white and started to collapse. We barely had time to catch him. After returning to life in a few hours, he told us amazing things. It turns out that boggart priests ate blue dragonflies to fall into hypnotic trances, where they could hear the will of the goddess, the demon lord Gogunta, the creator of all boggart kind. In his dream, Prometheus saw ancient times, how the boggarts built their settlement, how they raided the neighbors and enslaved their children, and how they held bloody rituals to honor bloated amphibian monsters, the roar of their laughter throughout the dark centuries. And he saw a priest bury a stash of plundered jewelry in his hut, rather than offering it to his cruel goddess. In return, the wrathful Gogunta sent a horrible plague upon his tribe, and that priest would be their last. We turned around to leave the abominable swamp. The flesh-eating bush grew quiet and gave way. On the journey back, we were sure to look inside the priest's hut and dig out the treasure that had once wiped out his entire tribe. We acquired an emerald! Those are pretty valuable. All in all, that went really well. Really, really well. The thorns really hurt. Our health is not the best. But you know what? This is what health potions are for. We have 26 health potions, and they are not bad. Unless I roll a 1. Yeah, that was great. Unfortunately, I cannot force the Smilodon to drink health potions. That is a downside of animal companions in this system. So, we're going to have to deal with the Smilodon's health another time. For now, we're going to make our way over towards the ancient tomb. Yeah, that looks about right. Permit me a moment to itch my head. And we are here. Alright, let's heal the cat.
I wrote it like I saw it.
I healed the wrong person. Good enough. Alright, let's change our formation. We want the people up front to be up front, including the cat. We want the people in the back to be in the back. Like so. That looks good. Something in the box. We approach cautiously. Ah, it's Harem. I remember Harem. A gnome in gaudy purple garb seizes your attention. Of course, the scoundrel Tartuccio, who you know from your time in Restov. The vile gnome is standing on a small hill, expressing his discontentment in every way he can muster.
Let me guess, you're still dawdling. Should I make some tea in the meantime? Bake a pie, perhaps? Plant a small garden and harvest some cherries? Perhaps you'd be more comfortable wearing fool's caps and colored trousers. Then at least I'd be able to sell tickets. Come one, come all! Feast your eyes upon the slowest and the most ridiculous buffoons in Golorian!
Why hurry? The same end awaits us all.
Hold your tongue, gnome. I can hardly tell your twaddle from the buzzing of a fly.
Quickly now, if we don't find that artifact soon, someone else might seize it. Someone who's standing over there watching you right now, you fools!
Tartuccio turns his angry gaze upon you. He nods to his guards to draw their weapons. And now we have an opportunity to use a diplomacy check to try and recruit one of these other party members. We could try to get Harem, a cleric, or Jailthal, an undead inquisitor. At this point in the story, I think it would be really useful to have Jailthal in the party. I like Harem as a person more, but right now we really need Jailthal's help. Jailthal, isn't it? Tartuccio's arrogance is long past what you can suffer. I can't find far better use for a companion. I can find a far better use for a companion such as you. The elf looks at you for a brief moment, then nods silently. She draws her weapon and eyes Tartuccio coldly.
I see my magnificent rival will stop at nothing, even at stealing the servants of his enemy. Let us see if your fools are even more useless than mine. Draw your swords and cover my retreat.
I need inspiration.
He doesn't even stay to fight with them? Well, he's there right now, but we'll see if he stays. I guess... Okay, the enemy is not flat-footed. We have a normal initiative. So let's have Limsey begin to have a song. That's a large person on an archer. Weird choice, but okay. Let's have the cat charge on in. Weak hit. That's fine. Oh, looks like non-combatants are running away. So Tartuccio's moving out, and Harem's moving out. Well, that's a shame.
This should do it.
I deal with the melee threat. Oh no, my cat! How dare you! Good hit. That guy's in melee. That's a problem. Let's 5-foot step away.
Die! Die! Die!
Bad shot. Looks like they rearmed Jailthal with something. I thought I took all of her equipment away.
Tear them apart!
Yeah, I have the scythe over here. Weird.
I wonder what lies beyond.
Really? I guess we are level 2. Well, he's still level 1. That's fine. Sometimes rolls happen in combat.
Serves you right.
Another one. You know what? This looks like a problem. What if I tried to solve this problem with magic? Good old grease. That might be able to do something. I said, good old grease. I'd be able to do something. Okay, my character doesn't want to do more than the 5-foot step. Which is weird. Oh well, if that's the case, I guess I'll just do my turn like this.
Calculated risk.
Wait, am I sick? No, I'm not. Alright, either way.
Let us strike as one.
Getting our hits in.
You deserved it.
Yeah, I'm not happy that the caster's over there like that, but here we are.
This will hurt.
Probably should have aimed at that one.
Do not falter.
Nope, cannot get the archer down. Okay, that's a good hit. Well done there, Jilthal. That one's still tied in melee. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to take any of them out, but go ahead and try.
Wishes.
Cat's still on the ground. Yeah, that
Let's
caster.
try this way.
Probably not a problem anymore, but
Onwards.
now we got 2 people over here. The archer was taken down because of attacks over. Dude, they really should have been stepping away.
This is where I step in.
Not the worst
This
damage.
should do it.
Okay, can you... You can't charge. If that's the case, why don't you... Intimidate. I don't know if that worked, but we'll see. Alright, finally a good hit.
Serves you right.
Casting a melee, bad choice.
A calculated risk.
And they're down. And now I can level up Jilthal if I really want to.
You have my attention.
How are your abilities? Yep, you still got your cure, you still got everything else there. Good. Alright, what do I want to do with you? I think eventually... I want to make you into a dragon disciple. Because I'll give you lots and lots of strength, which is nice. For a person who fights in melee, having lots and lots of strength is nice. So you need 5 ranks of Knowledge Arcana, and the ability to cast arcane spells. Well, the arcane spells might be a hard part. We'll figure out something. For now, keep on leveling up Inquisitor. I need some knowledge. Might as well raise up the skills that you've been raising. Wait, persuasion on you? Maybe not. I don't think you need persuasion that much. You're not really going to be an intimidator. You'll have plenty of other options that you can do. I could get trickery on you to have more chances at picking open boxes. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that for now. What do we want for spells? Do you know Cure? You don't know Cure. We should probably have Cure so you can cure other people. It's nice that you can use Inflict to heal yourself, but I think you need to be able to heal everybody else too. Alright, speaking of everybody else, we're all really hurt. And our formation's now messed up because Jilthal's in the party. Let's move Jilthal over here. And you are absolutely in the front. And you are absolutely not. Bring you 3 back. And move the Animal Companion up here. That's a much better formation in my opinion. Yeah, that'll work.
That is not far.
I think for now... Okay, right. We have all sorts of things to look at in this room. Now then. The image carved into stone is almost completely worn away over the ages. One can still distinguish... I'm sorry, it went away. A sickle, sword, and a skull with a single eye socket covered with a coin. Curious. What about this one? I gotta look at it, or you gotta just meander? Judging by the outline, this bas relief once depicted a sun and moon. Now it's almost completely eroded. How about this one? It seems from afar to be but cracks in the stone, but it turns out to be a faded image of the sun. A grinning jackal skull has recently been scratched into the top of the image. I see. On closer inspection, one can discern the outline of a head with a single eye. Like that stuff. We're moving a little bit slowly, so let's hit that button to see if we can speed up. Just a little.
Here.
Wait, what was that? Hold on. Scorched fragment of a necklace. This item bears a trace of lost power. It seems you found a shard of a destroyed artifact. If you find all the fragments, an artisan with enough skill could restore it for you. Or you could sell it for a little bit of money.
This requires your
As it
attention.
should be.
What's
Step
that?
on this. That's neat. Another thing there, that's neat. And what we got here?
You see that?
A trap. The bas relief of the sun, long eroded. A vague outline of 4 strange creatures have been carved over it. Alright, this could be really dangerous.
Speak.
This could be really dangerous.
Give the order.
So what I'm gonna do
Calls me. I'll take the bait.
is contemplate drinking some potions. Yeah, you definitely need to have one. You need probably 2. You probably need 1. Yeah, just drink up, everybody. You're all a little bit thirsty. The cat. Are you out of first level spells? You are.
State your desire.
You don't have many first level spells. But the cat needs to be healed.
Magritium Turinos.
Very minimal healing, but it's what we got. It's what we got.
Just
Okay,
let me
Lindsay.
try.
Who in the party is best at trickery? Is it still you? It's still you. Let's have Amiri give you a guidance. That does not last long. So get in there. It wore off before you could even walk over to it.
Anything else?
Okay. A little bit of money. Alright. And I'm going to save the game again. This could be tricky. How sweet the first breath of fresh air after the stale, damp stuffiness of the tomb. Before us stretched an unending heath, replete with hills and gullies, and patches of low shrubs. Already the trail of Tartuccio and his companions had gone cold. Fortunately, we could try a nature check here. We would not give up so easily. Whether the trail went cold or not, it was one we had to follow. We failed. Alas, no matter how long we stared into the wavy sea of grass, we could not divine which way Tartuccio had gone. Despite our resolution, this time, we had to taste defeat. Or do we? This is why I made a save there. I want to see the story. I hadn't received any feedback that you guys are against me scumming to be able to get things like this. And sometimes the game just has you low roll. No blade of grass was bent. It must have had enough time to straighten back up, since whoever last passed through. But the heath's dry earth preserved the prints of little shoes. Our eyes to the ground, we followed the trail. We walked and walked until finally we came to a huge gully, the dried up bed of river of yore. But what is this? At the edge the grass was trampled down, and the soil turned up, and claw prints, lots of them. We stumbled upon a fresh battlefield. And here the trail split. One set of footprints walked from the battle down into the gully. The brave footprints that faced down their enemies followed the path along the edge. Let's try a lore check. We tried to imagine who or what left those claw marks. The claw marks were not deep. The attackers were small and lean, and more, these creatures walked on 2 legs. Finally, the form of the prince left no doubt in our minds. We'd stumbled into Kobold lands. We can detect magic. We tried to find any traces of magic in the surroundings. We discovered traces of a spell, apparently from the illusion school magic, near where the lonely trail descended into the gully. Okay, thinking about what Tartuccio is, that's probably him. Tartuccio probably went down into the gully. We carefully studied the trail that led down into the gully. To our surprise, we discovered that the little shoe prints turned into little clawed footprints on their way into the gully. It was as if someone from Tartuccio's band was wearing shoes, and then either took them off or grew claws, then jumped into the gully to avoid the battle. We examined the path that snaked along the gully. The path was frequently used. As dusk, we saw both sets of footprints together. It was clear that those who had no claws left the battle surrounded by those that did. I see. Okay, so they were all stopped by kobolds, and then the Tartuccio disguised himself and let anybody else who was following him get kidnapped by kobolds. Great! Okay. So, I think in that case we'd go down into the gully. We stood a while in thought, and then followed a single set of footprints down to the gully. The way down was steep, and it took some time to reach the bottom. Walking on the loose soil was difficult, but the clawed footsteps were easy to spot. The bottom of the gully went downhill, deeper and deeper. Finally, the footprints turned, whirled into a steep slope, and disappeared into the gully's edge. We couldn't but admire the animal agility and the clever claws of the creature who were following. The slope before us was tall as 2 tall men, and ended at a hanging crest. Climbing such a slope would be no easier than climbing a sheer wall. However, a long, steady-looking root stuck out of the ground from the top. We'd have somebody try a mobility check. Lindsay's real good at those. There was one brave hero among us who decided to try his luck and climb the root. And we get to choose who does this, so we're going to have Lindsay do it. Go, Lindsay, go! Good job, you rolled higher than a 1. Really good roll there. After tugging on the root, Lindsay took a deep breath, grabbed it with both her hands, and began the difficult ascent. Pushing with her feet against the slope and grabbing the root with both her hands, she climbed higher and higher. Only her heavy breathing and the faint creaking of the root broke into deadly silence. Suddenly dust poured down from the top of the slope, and the root began to slide from the ground. Keeping her wits, Lindsay shifted her weight to her legs and froze. After a tense moment, she continued her journey, and soon had reached the top of the slope. After catching her breath, she lay on the ground and offered her hand to help the next of us up. After climbing out of the gully one by one, we easily found the clawed footprints again, and moved forward. The air grew tense. We sensed that we were approaching our target, and our intuition proved correct. We only get a little bit of extra experience doing this, but we also get this scene right here.
Listen to me. A dragon, huge, sparkling, flew down to me from the sky and told me a secret. A great relic that will win the kobold's glory is hidden somewhere nearby. Enough of this pitiful existence. Search for it. Search and bring it to me.
The leader speaks in a suspiciously familiar voice of the gnome Tartuccio.
Dragon! Glory! Dragon!
The voices of the kobolds rise in excitement.
We know the mites under the old sycamore. They possess the magic treasure. Very ancient.
Well, we can go with a lawful good decision here. Stop deceiving these poor reptiles, Tartuccio.
Who is there? How? Here, you fools! I mean tribesmen. Don't listen to his lies. I shall bring you to glory. Just help me find the relic and stop He's trickster!
He's doing such a good job of acting.
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
Alright, looks like we're only going to be fighting 2 of them. The rest of them are going to be running away. Well, that's good. I'd rather not fight an entire tribe of kobolds right now.
Die, die, die!
I didn't even see that one next to me. That's fine. We have multiple melee fighters now.
Unworthy.
Oh, she's not armed. I forgot to equip her.
This should do it.
That's a problem. Fortunately, she can still flank. I think. No, I don't think she threatens with her bare fists.
Serves you right.
Let the attack commence.
Let us strike as one.
Yeah, you gotta get a weapon. Yeah, you were equipped for 1 combat for some reason. I don't think I have a 2-hander for you. Use the longsword.
Precious things.
Good thing you're proficient with martial weapons.
A calculated risk.
A good thing Valerie's good at tanking. Alright. So that's handled. Got a couple of little bits and bobs from these guys. There's an imprint on the ground near the empty chest. It looks like another chest of the same size recently sat beside this one.
All according to plan.
Well, let's grab these little bags. Full of cooking ingredients and such. Alright. And now we're going to take a tour around the map. Because sometimes they like to hide things in the corner of these little area maps like this. And some things are better hidden than others. They're not really essential, but you know what? I like having money. And these things are worth money.
In due time.
This requires your attention.
What's this? Ooh. A box. With some port. It's not used in cooking in this game. So it's only there to be sold.
Interesting.
Another coin. We'll check the last corner too. Why not? Oh. More port. Delightful. Check the middling area. Alright, I think we've explored this area thoroughly. Yep, nothing left unmarked on the map. Okay. Alright. What an episode, huh? Lots and lots of dialogue, lots and lots of skill checks, a little bit of scumming. It's okay, though. We have one more destination that we have in our current logbook. And now we have Jaelthal with us. As we know, Jaelthal is undead. And what that means is, on the overworld, she can't get tired. Because undead are immune to becoming tired. She also has a fair amount of strength. So that means she's really good for helping us carry all this random nonsense that we got on our backs. So overall, she is a really good pick. Either at the beginning of the game or at that decision right there. I really do like Harem. It feels weird that I'm playing the game without a cleric. But you know what? Sometimes it's just nice to have an undead on your team. A friendly one, anyway. And next time, we'll be making our way over there to be able to determine what more we can find out about the Stag Lord. And I hope that you all will be there with me. Later, Pathfinders.